Hello and welcome. You're watching Next IAS English. Today we are going to talk about US President Donald Trump's yet another order that has made headlines. US President Donald Trump has ordered the resumption of nuclear weapons testing. After more than 30 years, he has said that this is a response to other countries like Russia and China conducting or preparing for their own test. This step marks a major shift in UN's defense policy and has raised global concerns about a possible new nuclear arms race. Now, moving forward, let's talk about why did Trump take this step. So, according to President Trump, the US has more nuclear weapons than any other country, and he says testing is needed to make sure those nuclear weapons stay updated and ready for deterrence. Now, he also mentioned that although he didn't want to restart testing, he had no choice. I hated to do it, but I had no choice because of what Russia and China are doing. So this move is being presented as a defensive measure, not an aggressive one, at least from the US point of view. Moving forward, let's talk about the global reaction, Iran's strong condemnation. Now let's understand the reaction from the other countries, which was very quick, especially from Iran. Iran's foreign minister called the decision regressive and irresponsible. He accused the US of hypocrisy, saying that while America blames others for nuclear programs, it's now restarting its own tests. And he even called US a nuclear arms bully here. And so this shows how the decision has added some new tensions in the international politics as well. Moving forward, let's talk about the historical background, US nuclear testing history. Now let's talk about the history. Let's recall some history. The US conducted its first test in 1945 in New Mexico, the famous Trinity test. And just weeks later, atomic bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Between 1945 and 1992, the US carried out over 1,000 nuclear tests, and the testing stopped in 1992 when US agreed to a global halt, though it never ratified the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty, CTBT. Now, moving forward, let's talk about the Cold War context and nuclear arms race. During the Cold War, the US and USSR, which was the Soviet Union, completed to build the largest number of nuclear weapons. This was called the arms race, based on the idea of mutually assured destruction, MAD, meaning both sides had enough weapons to destroy each other completely. This dangerous rivalry led to several treaties like NPT, SALT, and START, which aimed to reduce the number of nuclear weapons worldwide. Moving forward, let's talk about why tests were stopped, the CTBT and the global pressure. Now let's talk about that. Nuclear testing, it caused radiation, health problems, environmental damage in many countries. And this global concern led to a comprehensive test ban treaty known as CTBT in 1996, banning all nuclear explosions. So the US signed the treaty but never ratified it. Russia withdrew from the CTBT in 2023, and now with the US testing again, the treaty is under serious pressure. So moving forward, let's talk about the global nuclear arsenal 2025. How many nuclear warheads countries have? Russia has around 5,500 nuclear warheads, whereas US has around 5,177 warheads. China has around 600, and they're rising rapidly, and all three nations are modernizing their nuclear triad, meaning weapons that can be launched from land, air as well as sea. This modernization increases global tensions and makes the world less safe. Now let's also understand how many nuclear warheads India has. So according to a report, SIPRI report 2024, India has around 180 nuclear warheads, which is a little more than Pakistan, and there's no competition with China because China is far ahead. As you can see, it has around 600 nuclear warheads and it's rising rapidly. Pakistan has around 160 nuclear warheads currently. So this is where India stands. Of course, India has no competition with these three powers. These are just approximate numbers. We do not know what are the exact numbers yet. Moving forward, let's talk about the implications for global security in India. So let's talk about the implications. Now, this move weakens global treaties like CTBT and NPT, which were designed to stop the nuclear proliferation. It could start a new arms race, and just like Cold War for India, which follows a no first use nuclear policy, such developments creates challenges, especially because both China and Pakistan are nuclear armed countries. So this decision affects not just the US but also global as well as regional stability. Moving forward, let's talk about the Cold War lessons for the future. Now, what are the lessons that we have learned? The biggest lesson from history is that arms race don't create peace, they create fear. The Cold War showed that diplomacy and dialogue are more effective than competition. To prevent another nuclear arms race, countries must focus on trust, communication and restraint, not building more bombs. Moving forward, let's talk about the conclusion. Now, let's talk about the conclusion. To sum up, restarting the nuclear test is a political signal, not a scientific need. It's not a scientific need. And it may strengthen America's military image, but it risks undoing decades of peace efforts. At this stage, what the world truly needs is cooperation, not confrontation. Peace cannot be tested underground. It must be built through understanding, cooperation, and diplomacy. So this was all about this. Now, moving forward, let's talk about an MCQ for your revision. So, which of the following statements about the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty CTBT is correct? I've already explained it in great detail, so I hope you will be able to answer this. A, the CTBT allows peaceful nuclear explosions. B, the CTBT bans all kinds of nuclear tests. C, the US has not signed the CTBT. D, India has signed and ratified the CTBT. So, please do tell us what do you think the answer is in the comment section below. We will be seeing your comments and we will like the comments which have the correct answer. And I think I have completed most of the topic. I have completed different dimensions of the topic. We have talked about the history of Cold War. We have talked about the history of US nuclear arms race. We have talked about USSR, and we've also talked about different treaties that were signed back then. And the point is that US is starting this test. Do tell us what are your opinions on this whole issue in the comment section below. And that is it for today. I will see you in another deep dive video. Until then, bye-bye. Take care.